Welcome to Learn Commerce PU online classes. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Hello students, welcome to first PUC Business Studies online classes. Students, in the previous class we have studied about the meaning of public enterprises, different forms of private sector undertakings, the different forms of public sector enterprises. After that we have studied the meaning of departmental undertaking, isn't it? Now in today's class let us move further and let us study the features, merits and demerits of departmental undertakings. Features of departmental undertaking. First one, funding by government. Funding by government. In your reader, it is not given like side points. Side points are not given. Straight away, sentences are given by giving the numbers. Better if you write some side points. It will be easier for you to remember each and every point. Explanation you can give. Once you get this point, funding by government, then you can think of and you can write explanation, isn't it? Otherwise, it is very difficult for you to remember. So make points like this: funding by government. Jot down these points, okay? As I already told you, departmental undertakings, they are established under a separate ministry. Isn't it? ಒಬ್ಬ ಮಂತ್ರಿಯ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಕೈ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಇದಿರ್ತದೆ. ಈ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಅದರ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಆ ಮಂತ್ರಿಯ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿರ್ತದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾದಂತಹ ಕಾನೂನು ಕಟ್ಟಳೆಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡುವಂತಹ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಕೂಡ ಆ ಮಂತ್ರಿಯ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿರ್ತದೆ. ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ, ಯಾವ ನಿರ್ಧಾರಗಳನ್ನು ಕೈಗೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಆ ಮಂತ್ರಿಯನ್ನು ಕೇಳದೆ ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. So this remains under the ministry, and minister is responsible for all the activities. For taking any decisions, the approval from the ministry is required. The employees are not allowed to take any decisions here. The railway authorities, isn't it? There may be a number of people, but the final decision should come from the ministry only. They cannot take decisions on their own, isn't it? Even though they are very efficient, still they are not in a position to, they cannot take any decisions because the law is not allowing it should be taken only by the government, that is by the ministry only. So here my point is, funding by government means the entire expenses like payment of salaries to the employees of department undertakings, like postal department, those who are working in that, railway, isn't it? The people who are working in that railway department, maybe parcel clerk or inspector, isn't it? Signal or station master or any other people, maybe there is a divisional operating manager, chief commercial manager, chief operations manager, many authorities are there in station master manager. Be paid by the departmental undertaking, and it is funded by the government. While preparing the budget, annual budget, that is government will decide what is budget, projected income and expenditure of the department, isn't it? Or projected income and expenditure, that itself is called budget. ಆಯವ್ಯಯ ಪಟ್ಟಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಯಾವಾಗ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ? ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಆದದ್ದಲ್ಲ. It is not historical record, friends. We are projecting for the next year. at the beginning of the year, well before the beginning of the year, during mostly they prepare during that is February, during the month of February, isn't it? Budget will be done. Earlier, railway budget and the union budget both were separate. Railway budget separate, railway budget was there. I think now it has been clubbed together, isn't it? Single budget. So here my point is, the entire expenses of these departmental undertakings, purchasing those railway wagons or coaches, isn't it, or any other expenses, that is laying the rail, isn't it, that's a track, railway track, for that there will be heavy expenditure. So to manage all these, the expenses that will be appropriated during budget session, while preparing the budget, a part of the amount of total, that is expenses, will be allocated for the railway department, for postal department, like that it will be appropriated from the exchequer. Exchequer means the government treasury, from the budget itself during the budget session. Then all the income that is generated during the operation of those undertakings, when railway runs, isn't it, trains run, then passengers will travel, they will book the tickets, they will pay for the tickets, isn't it? Then the entire amount that is collected from the passengers or movement of that is parcels, isn't it, parcel wagons, for that you have to pay the freight, isn't it, to the railway department. All these amounts will be deposited into the government treasury. And employees are not allowed to keep the amount with them, because the accounts are subject to government audit. What do you mean by audit? Audit means verification of the books of accounts, whether the entries made in the books of accounts are true or not. To check those, that is a clarity or authenticity of the books of accounts, the entries made in the books of accounts, that process is called auditing. Auditing ಅಂದರೆ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಪರಿಶೋಧನೆ. ಆ ಬರ್ದ ಎಂಟ್ರಿಗಳು ಸರಿ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಆ ಎಂಟ್ರಿಗಳನ್ನು ಸರಿಯಾದ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ಗಳಿಂದ, ದಾಖಲೆ ಪತ್ರಗಳಿಂದ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಅಂತ ವೆರಿಫೈ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, isn't it? Sometimes it happens while checking the books of accounts, some vouchers, isn't it, stationery from stationery shop, bill will be there, but you have purchased 5 kg sweets for distributing during Independence Day. I am giving example, that's all. Is it possible? A common man definitely will raise a question, how did you buy sweets from stationery shop, isn't it? Is it possible? No. So such bills, the authenticity of which will be checked properly, and the books of accounts will be certified by the qualified chartered accountant. That is called auditing. And these are subjected to government audit. The books of accounts of departmental undertakings are subjected to government audit. So it is funded by the government. Departmental undertakings are funded by the government during the annual budget allocation. Budget sessions, amount will be appropriated for the expenses of these departmental undertaking. Clear now? ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾದಂಥ ಖರ್ಚು ವೆಚ್ಚಗಳನ್ನು ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಬೊಕ್ಕಸದಿಂದ ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, ಕೊಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ subject to accounting and audit by government. As I already told you, subjected to audit by the government, isn't it? Accounting and audit by government. Audit and accounting by government. As I already told you, the books of accounts will be verified by the government. The people who are appointed, that is a Auditor General, we call them as Auditor General of India. Accounting and Auditor Accounting and Auditor General of India. Auditor General of India. That is AG audit. We call it as AG audit. Accountant General. We call them as Accountant General. Isn't it? They come and they will check the books of accounts, the authenticity of the books of accounts of these undertakings. So they should be, the employee should be very careful, because at any time there is a books of accounts may be checked by the government, because as the government is appropriating money or the expenses of these departments, then definitely the government will ask the authenticity of books of accounts or the expenses spent by these departmental undertakings. ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿ ಹಣ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮಿಸ್ಅಪ್ರೋಪ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಗ್ರತೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್, ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಮ್ಮ ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಪಾಕೆಟ್ ಮನಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಡೈಲಿ 1,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ 2,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕಿಸೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, ಆರಾಮ ಬೇಕಾಬಿಟ್ಟು ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಅಥವಾ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸನ್ನು ಓಪನ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಯಾರು ಕೂಡ ತೆಗಿಬೋದು, ಹೊರಗಿನವರಲ್ಲ, ಮನೆಯವರು, ಮಗಳು ಅಥವಾ ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಮ್ಮ ಯಾರು ಕೂಡ ತೆಗಿಬೋದು. ಹಾಗೇನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರು ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಹಣ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಹಣ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಅಪ್ಪ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೀಯನ್ನು ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ತಮ್ಮ ಕಿಸೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಹಗ್ಗ ಹಾಕಿ ಕುತ್ತಿಗೆ ಕಟ್ಟಿಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಇನ್ ಓಲ್ಡನ್ ಡೇಸ್ ಯು ಮಿಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ ಸಮ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ grandma or grandfather, they used to keep a key and locker, isn't it? Actually it is required, friends. ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು, ಆ ಹಣವನ್ನು ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಬಾಕ್ಸನ್ನು ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಯಾರು ಇರಬಾರ್ದಲ್ಲಿ, ಯಾರು ಇಲ್ಲದ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಲ್ಲ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದರ ಹಣವನ್ನು ಇಡುವುದು, ಹಣವನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಪುನಃ ಅದನ್ನು ಬೀಗ ಹಾಕಿಡ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ನೌ ಲಾಕರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಅವೈಲೇಬಲ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್. But in olden days, at home itself, they used to store the money, isn't it? They used to keep money under safe custody. So, again, control illa andre enagtade, adu control ide andre enagtade. Control iddaga ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, ನಾವು ಭಾರಿ ಜಾಗ್ರತೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. 10 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅದರ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ನಾವು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, then we have to give, isn't it? ಆಗೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, ನಾವು ಜಾಗ್ರತೆಯಾಗಿ ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಒಂದು 100 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟದ್ದು ನಿನಗೆ ತರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು 50 ರೂಪಾಯಿದು ಐಟಮ್ಸ್, ಉಳಿದ 50 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಕೊಡು. ದೆನ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್, ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಹೌ ಟು ಟೆಲ್ ದ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್, isn't it? Suppose you ate one chocolate without permission, maybe 10 rupees chocolate you ate, then you will manage to tell that, isn't it? You will inflate the price of other item maybe, isn't it? Something like that. You will do some, that is manipulation, and you will give the books of accounts, that is records you will give, isn't it? In the same way here, as the government is giving the amount, the government will check the books of account, authenticity of the books of accounts or vouchers. Voucher means what? Documentary evidence, isn't it? Documentary evidence. It may be that is an invoice or bill or any cash memo, anything for that matter. When you keep a supporting document, that is called documentary evidence or voucher, isn't it? You will study in accounts. I think you have already studied this. Yes. Then third one is employees are civil servants. Employees are civil servants. What do you mean by civil servants? That is public servants, isn't it? Employees are civil servants. ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಉದ್ಯೋಗಿಗಳು ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕರಿಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, isn't it? Because they are paid by the government. ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಳ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಉಂಟು, ಯಾಕೆ ಅವರನ್ನು ನೇಮಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕರ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಡಿ ಅಂತ ನೇಮಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. But what happens actually in government departments? You go there, if you ask, no, I don't know, that file is with them. Now online system has been introduced. Nowadays those things are a bit, that's less, isn't it? Otherwise your file will not be there at all. When you give the paperweight, what do you mean by paperweight? Isn't it cash? Then your file will be there only, and they will remove the file, they will do the work and they will give you. That was the condition in olden days. Nowadays online system is there. Once you submit your application, they must do it. Either they have to reject or they have to they have to accept. If they reject, they should give the reason. If there is no reason, what reason they will give? So people are saved now from such exploitation, but still some sort of exploitation is there in government departments. Whatever it is, let us come to the point here. The employees of the department undertakings are civil servants or government employees, and they are governed by the civil service rules. Civil service rules. That is how they should behave, how they should work, isn't it? All this will be has been defined in the civil service rules that is framed by the government, and these employees should follow or adhere to the rules and regulations framed by the government from time to time. And they are headed by the IAS officers. What do you mean by IAS officer? Indian Administrative Service. Those people who have cleared IAS, isn't it, exam, they will be placed at the top of each position. They will be at higher position. So these department undertakings are headed by, that's IAS officer. Like isn't it, different departments are there. Department of Postal, isn't it? Postal Department, Railway Department. All these are coming under this departmental undertaking. So these people are paid by the government. The next one is direct control and control of the ministry. Under the direct control of the ministry, so the control exercised is direct. Any decisions to be taken for purchase or sale or whatever the name you call, the permission of the minister is a must. Permission of the department, ministry is a must. Without their approval or without their order, nothing can be done. Or the employees, those who are in charge of these departments, are not allowed to frame any decision. Frame any policy, or they are not allowed to take any decisions without the permission of the ministry. So all of a sudden, can the station manager reduce the fare of railway? Isn't it? He cannot, because he has no power to do that. Only the central ministry, Minister of Railways, the person in charge, the minister can do that. He can say, okay, fine, from tomorrow onwards, passenger train fare has been increased, or passenger train fare has been decreased because of COVID. Free travel, isn't it? The ministry can decide, but you cannot. Being a station manager, you cannot decide these things. So that is another. There will be direct control on the departmental undertakings by the government or the ministry, isn't it? Last one is they are accountable to the ministry. They are accountable to the ministry. Accountable to the ministry. What do you mean by accountability? What do you mean by accountability? That is answerable, isn't it? For doing some work or for not doing some work assigned by the government. Suppose someone is in charge of station manager. He has to make sure that trains are departing from that station on time. If there is a delay, he has to give explanation. He is answerable to the ministry. Suppose the minister calls, railway minister, why there is a delay, isn't it? Because of that, maybe accident occurs. Because of delay made by the station manager, accident occurs. Who will be responsible now? The station manager will be responsible, who has not made sufficient arrangement to make the train to run on time, isn't it? So they have train late ಆಯಿತು, ಕಾರಣ ಯಾರದಕ್ಕೆ? ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್. ಯಾಕೆ? ಅವ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ನೋಡಬೇಕಿತ್ತು. ಬಿಯಾಂಡ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್, ಫೈನ್. ಅವನ ನಿಯಂತ್ರಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಏನಾದರೂ ಅವಘಡ ಆಯಿತು, ಸರಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ಯೂಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಬೇಕಂತಲೇ ಅವನು ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ, ಅವನು ನಿದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ, ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಬಂತು, ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ ಹಾಕಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೆ, ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಹಾರ್ನ್ ಹೊಡಿತಾ ಉಂಟು, ಏನು ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಇವರು, 1 ಗಂಟೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಿದ್ರು. ದೆನ್ ಹಿ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಅಕೌಂಟೇಬಲ್. ಅವನು ಆನ್ಸರೇಬಲ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾರು? ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್. maybe he will be suspended or dismissed, or some legal official actions will be taken on that person. And it will be done by the ministry, because they are answerable or accountable to the ministry. So these are the 5 features of departmental undertaking. Now let us move on to the merits of departmental undertaking. Merits of departmental undertaking. ಏನು ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಇದೆ ಆ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ? ಲಾಭ ಮತ್ತು ನಷ್ಟ ಅಥವಾ ಗುಣ ಮತ್ತು ದೋಷ, isn't it? merits, demerits, then plus points, minus points, isn't it? Advantages, disadvantages, all these are the synonymous words. Merits, I will take up plus points here, or merits or advantages of departmental undertaking. ಏನು ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಇದೆ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಇಂದ? ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸಿ. Direct control and effective control by Parliament. Direct and effective control by Parliament. Effective control by Parliament, or maybe state legislature. Like Parliament is the apex, that is in central, in the state you will have state legislature, isn't it? So direct and effective control by Parliament means anything that is negative happens, or any wrong thing happens in the department undertaking, that will be discussed directly in the Parliament. Those MPs, they will sit together, isn't it? And they will discuss, and someone may raise, the opposite party MP may raise a point on this, why there was accident, severe accident, suppose 1000 people killed, isn't it? Then who will be responsible? The railway minister has to give answer for that, isn't it? So direct and effective control makes the people to remain alert. Control ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅಲರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತೇವೆ ನಾವು. ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಮ್ಮ ಡೈಲಿ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಮೊಬೈಲನ್ನು, ನಾವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅಲರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತೇವೆ. ಕಳಿಸಿದ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೇವೆ, ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡಿ, isn't it? ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಇದೆ. So in the same way here, when there is a control, then there will be effective management of these departmental undertakings. ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಬೇಕಾಬಿಟ್ಟಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. So this is first merit of department undertaking, as that there is a control by the Parliament or the ministry. The people will be alert and they will show their efficiency in the departmental undertaking. The employees will show efficiency. Second one is ensures public accountability. Ensures public accountability. As I already told you, what is accountability or accountable? That is responsible, isn't it? Answerable. So when the people have so much of responsibility, when they have been kept under a particular in a particular position, isn't it? Kept in a particular position, then there will be public accountability. The people will work in an efficient manner to make the people happy, the public happy, isn't it? Otherwise what happens? The people will raise complaint and it may reach up to the ministry level. So for that reason, department undertakings, there will be public accountability, because they are answerable to the public ultimately. Third one is source of income to government. Source of income to government. Of course, postal department, there is no much revenue to the government, because nowadays that old system of writing letters vanished, isn't it? In olden days, that was the only communication. There were no cell phones, telephones, nothing was there. Just trunk calls were there. Trunk call means what? from this post office to next post office to the other one, main post office, head post office to another head post office, like that the call used to go. And there was telegraph, wasn't it? Telegram, sending the telegram, that is also like sending the message to different, that is a voice, wasn't it? In that way it was there, and it has been stopped just because nowadays you can speak to any person, you can communicate to any person sitting in any corner of the world within a fraction of second, isn't it? Fraction of second. That is possible because thanks to information technology. So much developed that we are very comfortable nowadays. But here in postal department, because of that the revenue decreased, because there is a sending of letters, that concept has been cornered. Other than some government urgent letters, other than that nothing is sent through this. And here again there is competition from the public courier service. They give the delivery of the letters within 24 hours, like a Blue Dart Express Limited, wasn't it? Blue Dart, you might have heard, courier service, very fast. From one corner of the country to another corner, they will deliver within 24 hours or maximum 48 hours. Your letter or anything, any item for that matter, it will reach, isn't it? So such efficient services are there. So here, my point here is source of income to government, that is a railway, whatever the passengers pay as there is a fare, or the people who pay as freight for sending their luggages or parcels to another place, isn't it? To railway, it is a source of income to the government. Government can collect a lot of, that is, revenue from these departmental undertakings. Next one is most suitable for security purpose. Most suitable for security purpose. Security purpose. Especially in case of defense, security is required. Even in case of postal department, sending, that is, the confidential letters of the government and all these things, or even sending the people from one place to another place, army or any other defense personnel, defense items, isn't it? Arms, all these things should be sent. For that reason, you cannot trust the public. You have to have your own, that is a system, that is a arrangement. This government should have its own arrangement to send these items or things which are confidential in nature. No public should come to know regarding these confidentiality. So for that reason, department undertakings are very good, because the government can use these department undertakings for doing its work, that is confidential work, or some security reasons work can be done through these departmental undertakings. These are 4 merits of departmental undertakings. Understood? ಒಂದು ಲೋಕಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಇದೆ. ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್, ಇಲಾಖಾ ಉದ್ದಿಮೆಗಳು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ ನಾವು, ಇಲಾಖಾ ಉದ್ದಿಮೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಇದೆ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲೋಕಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ. ಎರಡನೇದು, ಜನರಿಗೆ ಬೇಕಾದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇವುಗಳು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಡಲೇಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಕೊಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾಳೆ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಬಂದು ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ರೀತಿಯ ಕೆಲಸ ನಡೀತದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇಲಾಖಾ ಉದ್ದಿಮೆಗಳು ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಆದಾಯವನ್ನು ತರುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಉದ್ದಿಮೆಗಳು ಹೌದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ, ರಕ್ಷಣೆ ಅಥವಾ ಗೌಪ್ಯ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಈ ಇಲಾಖಾ ಉದ್ದಿಮೆಗಳು ತುಂಬ ಸಹಕಾರವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತವೆ. ಸೊ ಇದು 4 ಇಲಾಖಾ ಉದ್ದಿಮೆಗಳ ಲಾಭಗಳು. Now moving on to the dark side or the demerits, isn't it? First one is no flexibility. Demerits or disadvantages or minus points or cons. This is pros and this is cons. Pros means merits and cons means demerits. First one, no flexibility. Like Hitler rule, isn't it? Yes. For each and everything, even for a small change we want to do, we have to contact whom? The ministry in charge. Without the permission of the ministry, we are not supposed to do any changes in the procedural formalities. So this is called no flexibility. There is no flexibility at all. We have to stick on to the rules and regulations of the department. That is rigid rules and regulations will be there. So employees or anyone for that matter who is having more talent or having creative idea, they cannot use their own idea, creative ideas, or they cannot use their talent, because there is no chance for doing any changes without the permission of the minister, isn't it? However, the minister is, whether he is literate or illiterate, doesn't matter. Nowadays, I think minimum qualification is there, but in olden days, there were people who were totally illiterate, who were not aware of that is anything about that particular area. Still, they used to be the ministers, and whatever they say, that will be fine. So here, employees are not allowed any sort of autonomy. ಅಂದರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸಣ್ಣ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಿಂದ ಅಪ್ರೂವಲ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ತಗೊಳ್ಳದೆ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ನೀವು ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾರು ಪವರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟದ್ದು, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾರು ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಕೊಟ್ಟದ್ದು ಹೇಳ್ರಿ ಈಗ. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಆನ್ಸರ್. You have to answer for that. So that is first, that's a demerit of departmental undertaking. Second one is not allowed to take independent decisions. Not allowed to take independent decisions. Independent decisions. What do you mean by independent decisions? That is, there is no force. You are taking decision on your own, isn't it? So that is also not possible in case of department undertakings, because ultimately the lawmaker or the rules and regulations maker or policy maker is the minister in charge. Others will not have any power to take any decisions. Third one is unable to take advantage of that is business opportunities, cannot take business opportunities, or cannot use business opportunities. Like there is a big mela somewhere, we will arrange 3 or 4 extra trains. Can they take decision? No, they are not allowed to take, isn't it? Or let us increase the fare because everyone is traveling by train, they are not traveling by that is other modes of transport. Can you take? Being the senior manager or a station manager or whatever the name you call, or divisional operating manager or chief commercial manager, chief operations manager, can they take decisions? No. They have to wait for the green signal from the minister. Minister says, okay, fine, do it. Then they can go ahead and do it. Otherwise, they are not allowed to take any decisions, and they are not allowed to use any business opportunities. ವ್ಯಾಪಾರ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಿಂದ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಹೇಳುವ ತನಕ ಇವರು ಏನು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ ಇದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಅವರು ಅದನ್ನು ಉಪಯೋಗ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ನವರಾದರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೂಡಲೇ 10-20 ಟ್ರೈನ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಇಮ್ಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಓಡಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅರ್ನ್ ಮನಿ, isn't it? Next one is Rectapism. Rectapism that is like a corruption, isn't it? Rectapism means that is corruption. People, that is those who are government employees, you know them very well. I am not telling everyone. Some of them are there who are lethargic, isn't it? Who are not concerned about the work at all. then they will scold the customers sometimes, and when you speak to them, they may give half answer to you, isn't it, or evading answers to you. So such type of rectapism, corruption, all these are there in the, that is a departmental undertaking. ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕರ ಸೊತ್ತು, ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಸೊತ್ತು, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಸೊತ್ತು, ಯಾರ್ದು ಸೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ, isn't it like that? So it runs as per the system, but not they are not concerned about the, that is humanity and all these things. 2 o'clock you are in urgency, they will not listen. It's a time up. Wow, shut up. There is close the shutter doors, isn't it? They will do like that. In the morning, if they are 10 minutes late, they will say, okay, I will go do it now. There was no bus, this, that, and they will start telling their story. You have to listen, because you are at that, you are standing in front of the counter. You have to get the work done through them, isn't it? So that is there. But at 2 o'clock sharp, they will close the shutters. Even if you have so much of urgency, they are least bothered because it is government department, isn't it? Like that. So rectapism is there. Then no proper service to consumers. They are not concerned about consumer needs. Fifth one I will write here, not concerned about consumer needs. Concerned about consumer or customer needs. They follow their own rules and regulations. They will not come out of their rules and regulations because they are not allowed to take independent decisions, isn't it? So for that reason, what happens is that they are not concerned about the consumers also. They will do as per the rules and regulations. They will not, that is customer oriented, that is attitude will not be there in the employees in case of departmental undertakings. So but still, to conclude, what we can conclude is that departmental undertakings are very much required for the defense purpose, and where there is requirement of security, isn't it, for the country. During that time it is required departmental undertakings. They work a lot. For that reason, the postal department or some other departments, they are not closed by the government, because government needs that department. Even the transportation, isn't it, that comes under corporation, but still I am saying here, they will not close it just because the government needs that for security and other reasons. So that is about the departmental undertakings, which is a form of business, that's a public enterprise, form of public enterprise. Clear? Yes, take the assignment. Mention the features of, mention the departmental undertaking. Submit your assignment on time. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.